But if you're in a dual carriageway and then the bus starts to signal to come out, right now it's got its hazard lights on, but if it was to signal to come out, these are 10 serious mistakes that are really easy to make, and I'm going to show you how to avoid them. Let's go. One mistake that's really easy to make is not checking your mirrors when you come off the roundabout. So like here, I'm going to check both sides because you've got space for cars to come in and exit with us on both left and the right. And so learners, when they come off there, they're just thinking about going off the roundabout, but you need to be really thinking about who's next to you, because the space is getting smaller, especially where when you come off it becomes one lane. You need to be really checking your mirrors as you're coming off so that you don't crash into anybody. Especially somewhere like here where this lane can come off with us and this lane can come off with us as well, but sometimes people from the other lane, from the third lane, will come off as well. And the examiner will be looking at you at this point there to make sure that you check your mirrors properly as you're coming off. So signal left to come off, and then I'm going to check my left mirror, but I'm checking this side, make sure there's no one coming off. So that person coming from the third lane, now they're coming off with us and checking this mirror as well, you see? So that's why it's really important to make sure that you're checking so that you're aware who's next to you as you're coming off. So most of us know now to look around before moving off, but it's really easy to get it wrong. So one of the ways to get it wrong is not checking the blind spot properly. So let's say you're trying to move off and you only check the left blind spot and you check your mirrors, and then if I was to move now, this would be potentially a serious fault, especially if I miss something on my blind spot, or if I continuously do it, I'll get a serious fault for not checking my blind spot. Another way to get it wrong as well is, let's say you do check your blind spot, but then it's busy, and then now you're waiting around, waiting for a safe gap. And then when you see a safe gap, you check your mirror and then you move out. So you could also fail like this as well, because especially if you do it continuously. I looked over my shoulder before, but then lots of time went by between looking over my shoulder and me actually moving off. And in that time, anything could have come from my blind spot. So to do it properly, you want to make sure that you're checking over your right blind spot if you're moving off towards the right, just before you move off, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to look around. I don't need to check on my left blind spot. I can if I want to, but I don't have to. I'll look over my right shoulder and then signal, and then check over my shoulder again just before I move, and then check my mirror as I move off. Mirror check's probably the second most common reason why people fail the driving test. So like here, I'm going to go around this car to go past it. I need to check my right mirror first, just to check who's overtaking me. There could be a bike there, could be a car, anything. So I need to check my right mirror first before going round. And then if I was to go back to the left, I'll check my left mirror first, because you see, sometimes people pass you from the left. So if I didn't check my left mirror there, before I went back, I could have crashed into that person there. That's why you always want to check whichever side you're going to, check it first before you do it. Not checking your mirror properly when changing direction can also happen when you're changing lanes, or when you are going from one side of the road to another side of the road. So like here, for instance, I've got to check my right mirror first. I've got to check my right mirror first before I move over to the right. If I didn't do that, that will be classed as not checking my mirror before changing direction, because I went from the left side to the right side. I've got to make sure I check my mirror first. An easy way that people don't realize you can fail is by driving too close or stopping too close to the vehicles in front of you. Even in traffic like this, you want to keep a nice gap between you and the car in front, because a lot of people, when they're driving after they've passed their test, they drive really close to the vehicle in front and stop really close to the vehicle in front as well. You don't want to do that on your test, because you can get a serious fault for that. So even in slow moving traffic like here, I don't want to be driving like really close to this car and then stopping really close to them. If you continuously do this, you're gonna get a fault, and if you do it too many times, it will turn into a serious. In these kind of conditions when they're stopping, make sure you can see the tires touching the road. So right now, I'm not sure if you can see the tires because of the camera angle, but right now, from my point of view, I can see the tires touching the road. And like here, each time I stop, I'm gonna keep my distance. And then once they've gone, checking the crossing, but there's no one near it that's gonna cross. And following too closely can happen at high speeds as well. So like with this car in front of us, I want to make sure I'm at least 2 seconds away from him. So I'll do that by choosing a fixed point, like this sign here. Once he goes past that sign, I'll start saying the words, "Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule." And if I get there before I finish saying that phrase, then I'm too close to him. If I finish the phrase and then I get to the post, then it's fine. Once it goes past that 50 sign, I'm going to say the phrase, "Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule." So Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. And you see that I said it, I was still saying it as I got to the post, which means I'm too close. So I need to back off a bit, and I'm gonna try again. So I choose that point there. Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. And then now I get hit. Now it's fine, I'm far enough away from him, and this distance is safe. Bosses can be really tricky to deal with. So when you're approaching bosses, if they signal to come out of the bus stop and you've got time to let them come out, you should slow down and let them come out. This is a mistake that some people make on their test. If you get to a point where there's signal and it's really late for you to do anything about it, then just carry on. You don't need to slam your brakes to stop for a bus. And like, this bus is coming out, so I'm just gonna slow down. Let them know that you're slowing down as well. Don't drive up to them like you're gonna go past them, because then that's gonna be confusing for them. They'll probably brake and then you're braking, and then everyone's gonna get confused. Make your intentions clear by slowing down nice and early so that they know what you're doing, so that then they can come out without any confusion. But if you're in a dual carriageway and then the bus starts to signal to come out, right now it's got its hazard lights on, but if it was to signal to come out, you don't have to stop for them on the dual carriageway, because the speeds here are too high to be stopping for buses. They'll wait for you. It's just on the side roads that if they indicate to come out and you've got time to slow down and let them come out, let them out. But on a dual carriageway, you wouldn't do that. When people think about speed or going too fast, they often think about breaking the speed limit. Even if you're under the speed limit and you're going too fast for the road conditions, that can also get you a serious fault. So whenever you're driving, first of all, you need to know what the speed limit for that road is, and then you also need to drive according to the conditions of that road. So if the road is quite narrow, there's lots going on, even if the road is 30, you might want to drive underneath that speed limit. You can also fail for going too slow. I've had learners say, oh, what if I just drive really slowly the whole test, because it's going to be easier that way. If you do that and you're holding people up and the examiner can see that you're deliberately just driving slow for no reason, there's a strong chance you're going to fail. And people have failed for going too slow lots of times. So don't think you can just get away with it by going really slow everywhere. You need to learn how to drive according to the conditions of the road. So where a lot of learners fail for going too slow is dual carriageways. Because they might not be confident to go fast, but before you go for your tests, before you drive by yourself, really, you should make sure that you're confident on the dual carriageway and going at high speeds. And the best way to do this, I found anyway, is to go on the motorway, but make sure you're doing this with an instructor, because you can't go on the motorway without an instructor. Go on the motorway and do the high speeds there, and then when you come back to these sort of roads, it's really easy to do. It's not going to be that difficult anymore. 50 will suddenly feel like you're doing 30. Once you do 70 miles per hour, and when you come back to these roads, they won't feel that scary to you. Another really easy way to get a serious fault is not looking around properly when you're doing parking exercises. So in the first place, before moving out, some learners will forget to do the full check before moving out to go next to this car here. And that's going to get you a potential serious fault. So before you move out, make sure you do a full check, especially over the right blind spot, because you're going to be moving out towards the right. Once you've done your checks and it's safe, another way you can easily make a serious fault is when you go into reverse now, and then now you just start reversing. Before you do that, you need to make sure you're checking all over to make sure that it's safe. And then once it's safe, you start reversing. Even then, people can still fail, because they'll do the checks, they'll think, oh yeah, it's great, it's nice and safe now. And then they'll just reverse back like this, looking at the mirrors the whole time, like this. Yeah. If you do this, there's a strong chance you're gonna fail, because you're not looking around properly. Just your mirror checks is not enough. So whenever I ask my learners, what should you be looking at? And they say mirrors, I say no. You need to be looking everywhere. It's not just mirrors, because when you think about mirrors, you're just thinking, okay, I'm just gonna check these three. But really, you should be checking the mirrors and over your shoulders, both of them, both shoulders, looking through there, through here, over that side, over this way. So this way I'm fully aware of what's going on around me. I'm not just relying on my mirrors, I'm seeing what's around me in my blind spots, what's next to me here. There's a red car coming towards me now from my blind spot actually, or from behind me. Once it's going past, I'm just gonna wait for him to go past, or she's stopping for me anyway. Then I carry on, let them go past, keep looking around, and then once I'm in, secure the car, then I'm done. You see, the whole time there, I didn't just have a stiff neck and just move my eyes and looking here and there. I was flexible, I was looking everywhere. And I know some of you are like, oh, but if I look around, I'm gonna lose track of where I'm going and how I'm steering. There's an easy way to get over that. So instead of losing track and looking everywhere and then forgetting where you're going, so you can look around first of all, make sure it's safe, look everywhere, move a little bit, and then stop, look around again, and then move, and stop, look around, and then do your turn, and stop, make sure it's still safe, and then move, and then stop. That way you're breaking it up, so you're not forgetting where you're turning, and you're still aware of what's going on around you. You're keeping it safe. Yeah, looking around, then wait for this van to go past. So once I've stopped, I look around, then I can carry on knowing that it's safe. Yeah, nice and tight next to the curb, and then like that. Yeah. So that's one way you can do it, where you can break it up so you're not having to look around while you're moving if you find it difficult. If you don't find it difficult, then do it the other way. It's up to you. You're going to get asked to pull over a lot on your driving test, and a lot of the times the examiner will say just pull over on the left in a safe place. And if they say pull over on the left in a safe place, and then you go and pull over by a driveway like this, for instance. So if I pull over here and then I block this driveway here, and then I stop. So this in itself won't get you a fail, but you probably get a minor for this. But if somebody tries to come into this driveway now, or somebody came out of that driveway or trying to come out of the driveway, but you're blocking their way, that's going to be a serious fault. You might be thinking to yourself, when's that going to happen? That's never going to happen. But it happens more times than you think. And I've seen it happen personally myself on a driving test, and the person failed because the person was trying to come out of the driveway as they were blocking it. If the examiner has said, pull over on the left, ignore that driveway on this occasion, then it's fine to block it. Even if somebody came now, or someone trying to come out of their house, you're not going to get a fault for it because the examiner told you that it's fine to do that. So if they don't say those words and they say pull over on the left in a safe place, find a parking space, a raised curb, or a space that's got no driveway. That way you're going to be fine. So when you're turning like this, you should really aim for the left lane, but sometimes people aim for the middle lane by mistake. If that's the case, just move over to the left. But staying in the middle like this for too long will get you a serious fault if you're not here for a good reason, or if you're in the right lane as well for no good reason, you're gonna get a serious fault. The middle lane is for overtaking, or like in this situation here, so the left lane's going towards Brent Cross, but this one is going towards Hatfield, so you can stay in the middle lane here if you wanted to go this way, or if the examiner has said to you, use the middle lane, or if the sat nav told you that you need to be following signs for a certain place, then you can be in the middle lane. Or if you're overtaking people, then you can use the right lane. But if you're sticking to the right lane or the middle lane for no reason for too long, there's a strong chance that you'll get a serious fault for that. You don't fail straight away. So when you realize that you're in the wrong lane or you shouldn't be in this lane, you can check your mirrors and then move over to the middle lane when it's safe, to the left lane when it's safe. So like right now, I wouldn't do it right now because there's cars next to me. But if I found myself in the middle lane for no reason or in the right lane for no reason, I'll check my mirrors and then move over to the left when it's safe. I've also seen people risk everything to get to the left. You don't want to do that. If you find yourself in the middle lane or the right lane, the main thing is going back to the left safely. Don't do crazy moves just because you want to be in the left-hand side. You can fail easily like that as well. So in slow moving traffic like this, we can go past people on the right using the left lane, but you can do this slowly. If it was free flowing and there's no traffic like this, you can't pass people using the left lane. There's been a lot of arguments in the comments about this, but you can fail for that. If you ask instructors or if you ask examiners, they'll tell you that people have failed and you can fail for driving on the left and passing people that are on the right side of you when there's no congestion like this. So like, just like now, there's lots of traffic. I can go past these guys that are on the right because there's congestion here. It wouldn't make sense for me to just stop here just because there's a car next to me on my right. But once the traffic is flowing freely like this, I can't be passing people that are on my right hand side using this lane here. That would be considered passing on the left and it's not allowed. If I wanted to go past these people, I'd have to go to the right hand lane and then go past them and then come back to the left lane. But passing them on the left like this, when it's flowing freely like this, you shouldn't do it. When it comes to parallel parking, an easy way that people fail is ignoring other cars around them. So like this car's coming towards me, and if I was to move now and then turn my steering wheel, the front of my car is going to swing out towards this car. And some learners don't realize that or don't think about it in time. They're just thinking about parking. And that's going to be a serious fault if you do that. The examiner will probably brake for you. Even if they don't brake for you, it's going to be a serious fault. So like here, if I was to start turning, I'll make sure I'll stop first, let this car go past, and then look around again and then I'll carry on my move because there's nothing near me now. Because all those cars that are going past us, they have priority. When we're doing the reversing, you need to let them do their thing, and then once they're finished, then you can carry on.